Hey guys, welcome back to Life with Jen. Today we're going to be doing a reaction video on Corey. He's being accused of kidnapping two females, and as you guys can see, my lighting ain't even right. Like, I literally did this last minute because I have to see this video. Like, this stuff is so crazy. I never expected to see something like this. I know Corey, he's doing whatever the crap he is, but the fact that, like, if he's doing something like this, going this far, is really crazy. But make sure you guys smash that like button. Also comment down below because this stuff is crazy. Let's jump right into it.
A popular YouTuber once known for his family vlogging.
Look, go there. Come on.
Is now accused of kidnapping two women. But the story doesn't end there. Authorities say the Texas-based content creator fled the United States by booking a one-way ticket and hopping on a nearly 20-hour flight all the way to the Middle East. So how did a man with millions of social media followers end up charged?
So my question is, if he didn't do anything per se, why would he take a flight that far if he wasn't guilty of anything or had a guilty conscience? That doesn't make any sense.
Charged with aggravated kidnapping. Well, it all began on November 22nd. That's when a woman exchanged numbers with 26-year-old Corey Pritchett Jr. The woman told authorities the following day she and another woman met up with Pritchett. They did some pretty harmless activities like working out, ATV riding, then bowling. But it was at the bowling alley where things took an intense turn. While there, the two women felt like something was off when Pritchett and his two friends started acting strange. The women told police they were repeatedly looking around, seemed on edge, and were acting suspicious. The unnamed women told police they learned Pritchett and his friends were having issues with another group that was there at the bowling alley. So they reportedly told Pritchett if he continued acting that way, he should just leave with his friends. Pritchett in turn stepped out with his friends, but never returned, leaving the women behind. After some time, the women texted him because they left their stuff in his car. So he asked them to meet at the H-E-B grocery store parking lot to get their stuff back. When the two women showed up, he switched gears and offered to drive them home, and they said yes. But according to the women, Pritchett flipped the script once again. During that drive, he reportedly began acting erratically and skipped what was supposed to be the route to drop them off. The women say Pritchett claimed someone was after him and started making phone calls. Then Pritchett began driving at high speeds, going past 100 miles per hour. The women claim he pulled out a gold-colored handgun and started waving it around the sunroof while still driving erratically fast, then began firing off rounds out of the car window. One of the women reportedly told Pritchett to take her back to her apartment and try to calm him down by asking him to pray with them.
Oh my god, that's so scary, like, to be in that situation. Imagine you just go to grab your stuff, and it's so sad because a lot of people really be in situations like this. Like, they're literally going to grab something, they're going to the supermarket, they're literally going anywhere outside to throw out their trash, and then they end up in deadly situations like this. Like, it's so sad, like, to hear.
But he still continued driving crazy fast down the I-10 highway. Pritchett then made a video call to a woman reportedly saved in his phone under future wife. He asked the woman on the call, if I had the perfect opportunity and was in the middle of nowhere where no one could hear them scream, should I just go ahead and do it? And the woman on the line reportedly responded, yes. For the women in Pritchett's car, though, they were seemingly in fear of their lives. The women told police that Pritchett told them, I'm gonna F y'all and then kill y'all. By this point, the women said they were texting one another during all of this. But authorities say Pritchett then started pointing the gun at them and took their phones away so they couldn't communicate with each other. According to police, Pritchett then pulled off the highway onto the shoulder of I-10 near Sealy, Texas. Seemingly with a change of heart, he told the women to get out of his car, telling them this is your only opportunity. One of the women said she tried to get her phone back but wasn't able to. Then Pritchett drove off, leaving them stranded on the side of the road at night. The women told police they spent more than an hour along the side of the highway before they were able to flag down a driver who called 911. But clues pieced together by investigators would help corroborate their story. One of the women had the Life 360 app on her phone, and screenshots, which included timestamps and the route they took, supported the victim's story of what...
That's so good. Life 360 is a really good app. I have that app. Like, anyone who has it, I recommend anyone to get it, because that app is such a lifesaver too, because it literally says what time you were there, for how long, and like, even if your phone's dying, it tells that other person, hey, this person's phone's at 5%, tell them to charge their phone. I love Life 360. I've been using it since high school, and it's like the best app to have.
What happened? Pritchett was ID'd through his driver's license and social media pages, but when investigators reached out to him, his phone was no longer in service. Instead, they found out through TikTok that he was planning to move to Dubai.
I moved to Dubai. The people just want feel so good out here. My kids, listen. So I'm having more kids, right? With my future wife, for sure. And Aiden, my kids are gonna be homeschooled, bro. It's getting real wicked in the United States. A lot of y'all not paying attention.
Yeah, he's getting out of the United States because everyone and their mother hates him. He's doing dumb stuff. He knows what people were going after him and looking for him, and that he had to wave his gun around and stuff. Like, he's definitely getting out the way because people are not just the states and the federal FBI or whoever it is. There's obviously either it's gang related or he has beef somewhere where they're looking for him.
Because a lot of y'all sleep and the news outlets are not speaking on a lot of that's going on there. It's gonna get real over there. Y'all might think I'm lying. Y'all might think I'm just talking. Y'all seen other people probably saying it. But you know, people don't believe you until it's hit the fan. That's one thing I noticed about most people in the United States. They want to party, live life, until it hit the fan. When it hit the fan, then everybody, oh, they want to scatter. No.
But according to the FBI, they confirmed Pritchett bought a one-way ticket to Qatar on December 9th. A little more than 2 weeks later after buying that one-way plane ticket, Pritchett was officially charged on December 26th with 1 count of aggravated kidnapping. I want to give a huge thanks to you, our viewers, and our amazing sponsors like Upside. Upside is a super cool and free app that gets you cash back on daily essentials like gas, groceries, and restaurants. Whether it's a nice restaurant or January 4th, he posted an article from Houston news station KPRC, along with the caption, "Letter to the Internet, it's finna be a ball. Let the show begin, hashtag Houston, Texas. Let me show you how to take monsters down the hashtag smooth way. You see it says accused, right? Don't worry, LOL. I'm finna give you the details on here and in the court of law. They gonna regret effing with me like I'm just some goofy or some. Oh, and I got the best lawyer in Houston." A day later, he posted a video with the victims as they were ATV riding. That video was captioned tagging Houston PD as he wrote in part, "We have a case here of popular YouTuber Corey SSG kidnapping 2 white girls, and he's currently on the run in Dubai, I think. IDK, but yeah, the FBI should be after him." A pretty wild case that is now ranging across 2 completely different countries that are thousands of miles away from one another. So let's bring on retired FBI agent Colin Schmidt to get his thoughts on this. Colin, thank you so much for joining me today. You know, what is your reaction to this case, from Pritchett's alleged erratic behavior to trapping these 2 women allegedly in his car and leaving them stranded on the side of the road,
crazy.
then later fleeing off to Qatar?
Well, I think the first thing for investigators is kind of look at the totality of the circumstances and look at the big picture, as well as look at credibility of who the complainants are, as well as what's really going on here between these 2 people, and that's based upon the recent instances of YouTubers or bloggers or social media influencers.
Sorry, y'all, my camera died. I'm gonna skip through some of it because I don't know if I would get flagged or anything from reacting to this channel. So we're gonna skip through a little bit.
To prevent a waste of resources, they have to just take a step back and kind of look at the big picture.
Like drugs that kind of made him act erratically during this whole incident.
I have a strong feeling that drugs or something were involved for him to act the way he was, because no sane person just gonna do that. They were either they're mentally messed up or they were under the influence some way. How?
Well, with the limited information available, you'd be speculating on why he was acting so erratic. So when somebody's acting erratic, there's a catalyst or some sort of antecedent that make them do that. So either it's something internal or external, and that's one thing that's going to come out, so to speak, in the wash. What happens is the investigators do their investigation and start talking to people and find out why he was behaving in such an odd manner. And then the fact that he fled to Qatar, which is kind of an unusual country to go to because of it. I doubt he speaks Arabic. Does he have some sort of connection to that country?
Yeah, and I was also, going to ask you what your thoughts are on him fleeing to Qatar. What all goes into extraditing a kidnapping suspect? And in your opinion, how long do you think it'll take before he's actually back in the United States?
Well, first thing is if we have extradition with Qatar, I'm not aware whether we do or don't.
I wonder, my good question would be is, since they know that he's over there, can they have the people, like the authorities from Qatar, go over there? Or they have to wait until he gets back to even do anything in that sense? Or if the FBI is involved, does the FBI go to Dubai and do all that extra stuff too? Or like I said before, would they have to wait until he gets back? Comment down below, because I really don't know that.
For that particular crime, because extradition is crime specific. Some crimes are extraditable, some aren't. And then the extradition process is generally very long and takes at least a year to 2 years. Generally, what the authorities do is they just have the country expel or deport the person that's there. It's a much faster process. Unless the person has some sort of citizenship with that country, and I doubt this gentleman has any citizenship with Qatar.
And do you think that trip was planned this whole time, or do you think he kind of did it as an escape to escape those now criminal charges that he's facing? Because I can't imagine, leaving your children behind to go start a new life in a completely different country and just, leave them behind.
That's what I'm saying. There's something mentally going on, or something that he's really going through to just up and leave, go around the whole world to get away from something, because it's like that type of charge and things like that, like you can fight, like, you know what I'm saying, like if you know you're not guilty, and if you were innocent, you would stay, fight the situation. But there's something bigger that it took him to leave all the way to Dubai, and no one's gonna tell me that he's just scared that he went all the way to Dubai. No, it's a lot bigger than that.
In Texas.
Well, if he was going to Mexico, I would say there wasn't a lot of thought put into it, because obviously it's just right over the border. But to take an international flight, I mean, you'd have to fly through an international hub, whether it be Houston or Los Angeles or New York, and then make a couple of connections to get to Qatar. So, and then, of course, the flight itself is pretty expensive, and then there is going to be some scrutiny on him on when he lands through the authorities there in Qatar. So there had to be some sort of planning to go into it, because, like I said, he's just not driving his car over the border going down to Mexicali. He's going to a foreign country, and it's approximately an 18-hour flight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and booking that one-way ticket as well too. I can't even imagine kind of going back to this alleged crime as well. Can't imagine what it was like for these two women who were stranded on that highway until they were able to flag down a driver who eventually called 911, and then authorities arrived as well too.
And that's so sad. I don't know how long ago this happened, but right now around this time it is very cold. Like, I don't know what the weather is right now in Texas is, but up here it's extremely cold. So the fact that they were on the highway for so long and in the middle of the night, it probably was, you could say, pretty cold. And obviously on the highway with the car driving by, it could have been like crazy, like worse. Like, it could have been horrible for them having to be on the highway for that long and being out there cold and stuff. Like, that's just crazy. And the fact that also too, like, their lives were at risk, like, God forbid that he would have crashed, God forbid that he did hurt them, and because he had a weapon, God forbid, like, he tried to take their life away. Like, that's very sad.
But, kind of going back to the overall alleged offense in this case, what do you kind of make of just leaving two women stranded on a highway, and then just, again, fleeing off to a completely different country?
Well, that tells me that there wasn't much thought put into this. It sounds more like this was an impulse crime. He was reacting to some sort of something maybe the women had done to him, or vice versa, and this was reaction, and he didn't think it through. And then I think finally it kind of dawned on him that what he had done is basically going to land him in jail, and he essentially panicked, kicked him out or put him on the side of the road, and then obviously left.
I wonder if he ever was locked up before. Maybe he never been, and he's like scared to have to deal with that or whatever it is. Or he has and he doesn't want to go back. I don't know. I wonder if he ever has been locked up.
Country. So he's definitely has a lot going on inside his head, and this case is only going to probably get stranger as the investigators dig in.
Yeah, and you mentioned something earlier in our discussion, just about his whole social media persona, which is kind of another added layer to this whole entire story. Pritchett has millions of followers across different social media platforms, but then you tack on this alleged behavior and this alleged or this crime as well too. What do you make of all of that, given that he was this kind of apparent rise on social media, and then he got kind of famous as well too, doing family content, and then for this to kind of come out? What do you make of just kind of that Jekyll and Hyde situation that we're kind of seeing all unfold?
Well, that's from where I started with this, that because of his social media presence, law enforcement was going to have to kind of dig in and kind of determine what the motive behind this was. Maybe he had no intent of harming these women. He was just doing this for the classic clicks. Or, like I said, he had something going on in his life that made him panic. But it seems like there's such, in society now, there's such a intense pressure to get quote-unquote clicks, that we see these social media people doing some amazingly stupid and abhorrent things. And frankly, I think law enforcement and the society as a whole is really kind of getting tired of it.
Who knows? Who knows? This, at the end of the day, I don't know who the women are. I'm not trying to say anything or bash anybody, but like he said with the social media stuff, like, who knows if he paid some girls to which I don't think, because they call the cops, but sometimes the people do stuff just to get clout and everything. Like the fact that he did that, maybe he told the girls, oh, call the cops and stuff like that, so then we can make like a skit of me doing something crazy and stuff like that, which that would be crazy. I'm saying, like, I'm not saying like it happened, but like imagine if something like that like happened, because like he said, a lot of famous people like to do a lot of crazy stuff for clout, and Corey is a very big clout chaser. Or it could have been that he was like, oh, I'm gonna take my chance to do something crazy, so then like I can have the clout and like attention on me.
And the hammer is starting to fall on these people for their behaviors.
Now, say Pritchett makes it back to the United States, he's facing this kidnapping charge. How long of a potential sentence or punishment do you think that he could be facing now?
Well, if the federal authorities get involved, I believe you could get up to life in prison for kidnapping. So, depending on the circumstances and if it's provable, in this case, he didn't take the victims over state lines. So there's an argument that it's not a federal crime. However, there is a kidnapping statute in Texas. So, and Texas has a pretty aggressive law enforcement culture there. So he's going to be facing some jail time if it turns out that this was legitimate kidnapping and these women are willing to testify.
All right, well, Colin, I want to thank you so much for joining me and giving me insight into this case. Before we sign you off, though, anything else you'd like to add?
I think it just comes, like I said, full circle about all this social media clicking nonsense, and it's really gotten out of hand. And I think it's long past time for authorities to start cracking down, because people are getting harmed.
All right, Colin, again, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
According to reports, law enforcement is making an effort to bring Corey Pritchett Jr. back to the United States. In one of his latest Instagram posts, Pritchett wrote he was back on the way to the U.S. because he had a meeting in Houston. That post was followed by another with the caption, "See y'all when I get out. Crazy everybody want to see me behind bars for accusations I didn't do. I know God got me. Love all my supporters. They can't keep me down."
That's crazy. That is crazy. Well, guys, that was the end of that video. I wanted to make sure I did this reaction because I was dying to see that video to see what was really going on, because I did not really believe it. Because I know Corey, he does a lot of stupid stuff, but like the fact that I got to this, it's really sad and like really disappointing. And like the fact that he has 3 sons and like he's showing that example to them, it's very sad. But I hope he didn't really try to kidnap the girls and stuff like that, and I hope it was just a misunderstanding or some crap like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys smash that like button and comment down below what you guys think and answer the question that I asked before. I love you guys so much. I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.